Have you ever found yourself lying in bed, waiting for sleep to come, but feeling like your body is still humming with the energy of the day, as if the engine hasn't quite turned off even though the lights are out? It is a quiet frustration that many of us become more familiar with after 50, noticing that the transition from a busy day to a restful night doesn't happen quite as automatically as it once did. And often, we carry the tension of our responsibilities right onto the pillow with us, without even realizing it. Welcome to a space of calm and gentle reflection, where we are going to explore a simple, nurturing idea that has helped many people bridge that gap between waking and sleeping, focusing on how a very brief, 3-minute evening ritual can sometimes be the signal our bodies are waiting for to finally let go. It is interesting to consider that, for decades of our lives, we often treat sleep as something that just happens to us, a switch that flips the moment we close our eyes. But as we mature, and as our bodies change in subtle and natural ways, we often find that sleep becomes something we have to invite in rather than simply expect. And this shift in perspective is often where better rest begins. Many people have discovered that the secret to a deeper sleep isn't necessarily found in trying harder to relax, which can often feel like a paradox, but rather in physically signaling to the nervous system that the work of the day is done. And this is where the concept of a gentle evening stretch comes in, not as a workout, and certainly not as another item on your to-do list, but as a quiet conversation with your own body. There is a curiosity here that is worth exploring, which is the idea that our muscles hold onto memories of the day. The stress of a phone call held in the shoulders, the urgency of errands held in the hips, or the focus of reading held in the neck. And unless we take a moment to acknowledge and release that physical story, the mind remains on high alert, believing that there is still work to be done. Experts who observe sleep patterns often suggest that the body needs a power-down sequence, much like a computer or a machine that cannot simply be unplugged, but needs to cycle down gradually. And for those over 50, this winding down period becomes even more precious, as our natural production of sleep hormones shifts and our sensitivity to comfort changes. So let's imagine together what a 3-minute evening pause might look like, exploring it not through rigid instructions or perfect forms, but through the sensation of release. Because the goal here is not flexibility or fitness, but simply softness. It often begins with something as simple as standing beside the bed, or even sitting on the edge of it, and taking a moment to just notice where the shoulders are sitting. Because many people notice that by 9 p.m., their shoulders have crept up toward their ears, holding the weight of gravity and duty, and simply allowing them to drop, consciously and heavily, can feel like setting down a heavy bag you didn't realize you were carrying. This brings us to a part of the evening that many people overlook, which is the connection between the breath and the spine, and how a very gentle, slow movement can act as a kind of internal massage for the nervous system. Imagine, if you will, a slow, unhurried twist, just turning the upper body gently to one side and then the other, not forcing anything, not trying to crack the back or reach a certain point, but just wringing out the torso like a soft cloth. And many find that as they do this, They can almost visualize the frantic energy of the day dissipating, leaving the center of the body quiet and still. It is often observed that as we age, we can feel a bit stiffer in the evenings, a sensation that is completely normal, but can sometimes make it difficult to get comfortable under the covers. And simply introducing this kind of fluid, gentle rotation before lying down can help iron out those creases in our physical fabric, making the mattress feel more welcoming. What often matters more than the movement itself is the intention behind it, the deliberate choice to say to yourself that the day is over. And this is why the timing is so powerful, because doing these gentle movements right before bed creates a boundary line that separates the noise of the daylight hours from the sanctuary of the night. Another area where we tend to store a surprising amount of tension is in the hips and the legs, the parts of us that have been responsible for moving us forward all day. And simply taking a moment to release that drive can be profoundly shifting, perhaps by just shifting your weight from one foot to the other in a slow, rocking rhythm. Or if you are sitting, allowing the knees to fall open slightly, signaling to the deep, primitive part of the brain that there is nowhere left to go, no more rushing, and no more deadlines to meet. It is fascinating how the body listens to these physical cues far more effectively than it listens to our internal dialogue, because you can tell yourself to relax 100 times and still feel wired. But if you physically soften the jaw, drop the shoulders, and unclench the hands, the brain often receives the message that it is safe to lower its guard. This is a vital realization for many over 50 who struggle with that tired but wired feeling, where the body is exhausted but the mind is racing. And this short, 3-minute window of movement acts as a bridge, allowing the mind to catch up with the body's need for rest. There is a beautiful simplicity to this approach because it requires no equipment, no special clothing, and no floor mat. Just a few moments of standing or sitting in the quiet of your bedroom, perhaps with the lights already dimmed, allowing the environment to support the process. Some people find that focusing on the neck is the key for them, gently tilting the ear toward the shoulder and breathing into that space where the neck meets the shoulder, a place where many of us hold tension from looking at screens or driving, and just staying there for a breath or two, not pulling, just allowing gravity to do the work, can release a surprising amount of pressure. It is often felt that we live in a culture that values doing and achieving, and stopping to stretch can feel like doing nothing. But in the context of sleep, doing nothing is exactly the point, and learning to transition from doing to being is a skill that serves us beautifully as we get older. What many discover after trying this for a few nights is that the routine itself becomes a comfort, a familiar friend that the body starts to recognize, so that eventually, the moment you start that first gentle movement, your eyelids might start to feel heavier, because you have conditioned your system to associate that specific stretch with the arrival of sleep. It is worth noting that this isn't about perfection or performance. And if one night you only have 30 seconds, or if you feel too tired to stand, simply doing a gentle roll of the wrists and ankles while sitting on the bed can offer a similar benefit, because it draws your attention out of your thoughts and into your physical sensations, grounding you in the here and now. Many individuals over 50 share that their sleep feels lighter or more fragmented than it did in their 30s. And while this is a natural part of the aging process, creating a physical ritual can help anchor us, providing a sense of stability and comfort that makes falling back asleep easier. If we do wake up in the night, it is a reclaiming of the night, a way of saying that even though the body changes, we can still find ease and comfort within it, and we can still offer ourselves care in these quiet moments. As you move through this short sequence, you might notice that your breathing naturally slows down, becoming deeper and more rhythmic, and this is the parasympathetic nervous system engaging, the rest and digest mode that is essential for restorative sleep. And it is wonderful to realize that we have the power to invite this state in simply by moving slowly and intentionally. There is no right or wrong way to feel while doing this. Some evenings you might feel tight and resistant, and other evenings you might feel loose and ready, and both are perfectly okay. The value lies in the practice of showing up for yourself at the end of the day. It is often surprising to find how much tension we are unaware of until we try to let it go, realizing that we have been clenching our jaw or holding our stomach tight for hours. And the relief of that release is what paves the way for a softer landing into our dreams. This 3-minute pause is essentially a ceremony of closing the day, a way of filing away the events, the conversations, and the worries, acknowledging that they are done for now, and that nothing more can be solved until the sun rises again. By the time you climb under the duvet, the goal is for your body to feel slightly heavier, warmer, and softer, having shed the armor of the day, ready to sink into the mattress rather than perch on top of it. As we embrace these small, gentle habits, we often find that sleep becomes less of a battleground and more of a welcoming friend, a time of restoration that we can look forward to. It is a reminder that looking after ourselves after 50 doesn't always mean adding more effort. Sometimes it means adding more softness, more pause, and more grace. So tonight, before you turn out the light, perhaps you will try taking just 3 minutes to stand or sit in the quiet, to move your body gently, to breathe out the day, and to see if a little bit of movement can help you find a lot more stillness. If this felt calming or helpful, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for spending this quiet moment here.